I have finally watched Avengers Infinity War. Now, this review will have spoilers, so you are warned. Okay, I just want to start off by saying this movie was good. It was not, definitely not a flawless movie, but I really enjoyed it, watching it for the first time. I had a few things I didn't like about it. I'll tell you those things here. Tony Stark was awesome. He was awesome as Iron Man. I really liked him as Iron Man. This is probably his best portrayal next to Iron Man 3 as Tony Stark slash Iron Man. He was pretty good. I liked him. But one thing I didn't like about Tony Stark in this movie was we never once in this movie saw Tony Stark and Steve Rogers interact. Not once. Sorry about that sound. I don't know what that was. Yeah, I actually also before I said Steve Rogers, not Rogers. And I'm gonna call this guy Nomad for the rest of the video because that's who he was in this movie. Nomad was awesome. Nomad, aka Steve Rogers. I really liked him in this movie. He was so awesome. Yeah, he was very awesome. Hulk was also kind of disappointing in this movie. He only turned into the Hulk once in the beginning, though in the beginning, the Hulk versus Thanos fight was awesome. But as said, he only turned into the Hulk once in the movie, and that was kind of disappointing, but of course it's because of the budget, that they didn't have enough money to have Hulk too much in this movie. Thor was awesome in this movie. I loved his interactions with the Guardians. That was so good. Speaking of the Guardians, Star-Lord, aka Peter Quill, was awesome. He was funny. I loved him in this movie. He was so good. And I feel like Drax should have died. He'll probably die in the next one, and he did die, but he was one of the characters that vanished in the end. He's definitely gonna come back. But this, as said, feels like a first movie to a two-part movie. And I hope in the second one that Drax dies, because it will be really emotional and it will fit the story perfectly. Nebula was barely in the movie. I mean, she was in like 3 scenes, and here comes another point in the movie. The movie was kind of overstuffed. Not every character got their shining moment. Yeah, it was kind of overstuffed, this movie. Also, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, we didn't really get to see that much of her. We didn't get to see that much of Rhodey, aka War Machine, either. No. Another person we didn't get to see that much of was Black Panther. Now, all of these characters I just listed are awesome. We just didn't get to see enough of them. Same with Falcon, didn't get to see enough of him either. He's awesome. All those are awesome in the movie. Now, another argument is for Doctor Strange. I think we actually saw too much of him. I would like to see less of him and more of the other characters like Black Panther or Falcon. And Hawkeye, well, he wasn't even in the movie. And with Bucky, we didn't get to see as much of the characters that I would actually have liked to see more of in this movie. We didn't get to see them that much. Mantis, I guess she was pretty cool. I guess she was an okay addition to this movie. Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Wow, I mean, he was really cool. I loved the introduction scene where we first see him get the Iron Spider suit, but his death in the end, he was one of the characters that just vanished, but it still made me very sad. He was holding Tony and he was crying. He says, I don't want to go, I don't want to die. It was so sad, but he is coming back, let's be honest. Groot, he was bad. I didn't like Groot. Groot, no. It didn't work for me, he had not a single go-to moment. Maybe the only moment he really had where he wasn't playing a game was where he helped Thor make the axe. By far my least favorite iteration of Groot. Baby Groot was my second favorite, and the original Groot was, of course, my favorite. And I am still waiting for a Rocket Raccoon and Thor spin-off movie. Rocket was awesome in this movie, but one thing that really surprised me in this movie was Red Skull's inclusion in the movie as the Stonekeeper. He was guarding the Soul Stone. That was really surprising. I had not expected to see him in the movie. The Black Order, I don't know, I guess they were okay. My favorite was the telekinesis one. He was by far the best, in my opinion. of them, but they all died in the end. They were kind of just there. I didn't really like them. And what Mark Ruffalo said turned out to be true. He said, everybody dies. And in the end of the movie, pretty much everyone except for Thor, Cap, and Tony died. Everyone. They just vanished into thin air. And I don't know what I feel about that. I feel like they are going to come back to life. And that's kind of like, Loki coming back to life, and too many people come back to life, and I don't think that was a good idea to making them all vanish, but yeah, they are going to come back to life. It's so clear that they're going to come back to life, but this movie actually had consequences and sad moments. For example, Loki, and Loki is one of the characters that is actually going to stay dead. He died in the first scene of the movie along with Heimdall. That was awesome to see. And I was glad to see Loki go, actually. I don't know why, but it just felt right for the movie. But the saddest death by far was Gamora, and Star-Lord's reaction to the whole thing was so sad when Thanos killed Gamora to get the Soul Stone from Red Skull. It was so sad. I didn't cry, but I was close to crying. It was really sad. She's also one of the characters that is, well, probably gonna stay dead, let's be honest. Another death that was really sad was Vision. He died near the end of the movie. He was actually killed by Wanda. The first time he was killed by Wanda, and the second time he was killed by Thanos in Wakanda. Oh, speaking of Wakanda, do you guys remember this awesome team-up shot? Yeah, it wasn't in the movie at all. Kind of disappointing. And the Black Panther, the whole army and stuff. Okoye was much better in this movie than she was in Black Panther. Much better. And Shuri was... I liked her better in Black Panther. But let's get on to the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. This is one of the best MCU movie villains. Definitely top 5. He was so awesome. There was some moments where he was kind of a weak villain. One of them was when he was standing with Red Skull, just standing next to Gamora, and he says, I want the Soul Stone. I just didn't imagine Thanos to be like that, but in pretty much every other scene, he was so menacing. He is a sad, terrifying, and angry villain. I loved him, and he's definitely going to return because the final scene in the movie, not including the end credit scene, also the end credit scene was Nick Fury and Maria Hill dying, and we see Nick Fury calling Captain Marvel, but that's not relevant. The final scene in the movie is we see Thanos has a complete Infinity Gauntlet, which was awesome, and it said in the end of the movie, it said Thanos will return. And I can't wait any longer. Thanos was just fantastic when he killed Gamora. Such a great moment. When he killed Loki, great. When Heimdall was killed, great. Everything about Thanos except that one scene was great. And that's my review. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It was a really good movie, but it had some stuff I didn't like in it. But I'll give it an 8 out of 10. And that's my review. Say in the comments, did you like Avengers Infinity War? Did you hate it? What did you think about the movie? Have you even seen the movie? Are you just here to hear the spoilers? Whatever. What did you think about the movie? Leave it in the comments.